Although I think it actually just went away.
How about now?
Yeah, okay. I think we're
I
good.
think it was my headphones. I
Got
gotta
it.
get new headphones. That's probably it. Sweet. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a good idea. I think these are the kind of questions that we get a lot through DMs and
Mhm.
emails. So to have something to give it out to people will be good.
Yeah, I'm pumped, and I know we've got some people online that'll have some questions. So yeah, okay. So Drew, thanks for joining us. What we're going to do is we're going to talk today about the Roots Misfit Athlete Camp. So Misfit Athletics is coming to run a 3-day athlete camp, and that's January 30th. I should know the dates off the top of my head, but dates aren't my
30th through
strong
February
suit.
1st.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30th to February 1st. It'll be at CrossFit Roots. And I think let's just start kind of what is camp and just the general flow to get people all on
Sure.
the same page. And then maybe we can go through and talk about like why you would take camp if, or come to camp if you're like X profile, this profile, like different types
Yeah,
of
for sure.
athletes. Cool. Okay.
So I think the what we do Friday night encapsulates a lot of what camp is and who we are, and then I'll give kind of a more practical answer after that. So
Cool.
Friday night we do what we consider a really good icebreaker, where we basically go over one of the Olympic lifts in like ultra fine detail, and then we lift heavy together, and everyone sort of gets to know each other, and we turn the music up, and you get the juxtaposition of I'm going to be absurdly granular with how to think about the Olympic lift and what we're going to work on. And, as you would know, Hunter's cursing per minute will just go up as things go. And I just think that it opens the door to like, hey, we are very serious about this thing, but we are also just showing up as ourselves. Um, and I think it does a really good job of letting people know that like we'll meet you where you're at. We'll try to have fun with this, but we also have been coaching at the CrossFit Games level for almost 15 years. So I think we've talked about this before, but just the combination of coaching at that level and having the affiliate gives us just such this wide range of
Yeah.
experiences to draw from, and camp is the perfect place for us to go out and give out that information.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we kind of skipped over that. Just Misfit affiliate programming is what Roots follows, and we've been following that for just over a year with some pretty profound and awesome results. So we want to thank you guys for that. We love it. Everyone suffered through those row sprints yesterday beautifully.
Yep.
Um, but I think that was one of the main reasons, when we looked at you guys at your camp and seeing like would they come out, is that I think it's just another way to extend everything you guys have in the world in your expertise in terms of
Yeah.
what you do in the affiliate all the way throughout to like the professional athletes that you guys coach, and bringing
Yep.
that to the gym was just really appealing. So that's your guys background. I mean, that's the roots connection in terms of that with the programming that we follow. So okay, so day one we're going to lift heavy shit, we're going to high five and fist bump over some music, and we're going to break it
Yeah.
down to a level that really kind of sets the tone for what you guys are going to be covering for the weekend, or the level of
Yeah.
detail.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and then we got Saturday and Sunday. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Saturday and Sunday, we have 4 breakout sessions total. And the typical flow of a breakout session is going to be we warm up, and then we go into, those moments you have in an affiliate class where you only get 5 to 10 minutes to go over all of this stuff. We
Yeah,
can send you into different parts of the gym with different coaches. We rotate through. Each station has points of performance on movement. We talk about workout strategy. We talk about how you would execute on this specific workout. Um, and we basically, again, we go from warm up to the breakout sessions to the workout. And in a lot of instances, we'll do multiple heats so we can get that feel of kind of the open, where someone can stand there and kind of keep track of maybe round splits for you. So you talk to your coach about we're going to hold 2 minutes per round, and then your first round was 1 minute and your last round was 4 minutes.
is there something
Things
wrong
of
with
that
that?
nature. We'll see. Depends on context, I suppose.
For sure, for
Um,
sure.
but basically, we do that 4 times. So that gives us an opportunity to have a ton of touch points on movements themselves. And then we build one of my favorite things is if someone comes to camp that didn't really want to come to camp, that got talked into it,
Okay.
because I make it my mission to win them over. And each time we go through something, we can set the camp up to be like, we're going to let you fail almost intentionally in that first
Okay.
workout to show you that we know what we're talking about. So, like, we'll go over
Got it.
strategy, and there'll be a 20-minute AMRAP, and we'll intentionally turn the music all the way up. Um, and people
Sweet.
will go way too hard in round one. Um, and again, that just sort of sets the tone for us to be like, hey,
Yeah.
there's so much. If you're dealing with it in a sport context, there's so much related to how you pace, how you break up certain movements, what your transitions are like, things of that nature. So we just
Okay.
get to work our way through the weekend to really like prove that mixing the ideas of movement efficiency, and we'll get into some mindset stuff, and the strategy of the workout can really take hold if you take those things home with you. Because that's another thing that we talk about a lot at camp is like we would love to show up and snap our fingers and get you guys exactly where you want to be. But if you feel
Right.
like you have these nuggets to take with you, that's when you can really kind of make a change. So we'll have 4 of those sessions on Saturday, in the middle of sort of in between those, either before lunch or after lunch, I'll have a lecture.
Okay.
Um, and the lecture is typically, um, some way for me to push the basics. That could
Cool.
be the basics in does it really matter how good your muscle ups are if you're while like stuff in your in your personal life outside of the gym, like getting that stuff in order. So um there's a there's a one really good part of it is I'll have one or two CrossFit Games athletes there with me,
Mm,
and they can
sweet.
let people know how simple these universal truths actually are. Like their
Right.
superpower is
They
in showing
apply.
up over anything else, over trying to figure out like the latest and greatest trick, that sort of thing. So my lecture is almost always propaganda for like be obsessed with the things that you can control
Hmm.
and not so much about getting distracted by um things that the 1% need to do to be able to go from fourth at the games to first or something like that.
Right.
And then Sunday we'll do a Q&A. Sunday will be full
Okay.
Q&A. And I think it's really good to have myself and Hunter up there. I'm a little bit more on the sports side. He's a little bit more on the affiliate side.
Hmm.
And then, having a games athlete or two there to, be able to answer questions from different perspectives is usually really helpful.
Yeah, for sure. The breadth of it, I think a lot of different athletes will get, everyone comes into it with a little bit different perspective, right?
Yeah.
But being able to cover those questions. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, I think the idea of camp just for adults, like just the word camp, like initially, I think people are kind of like, I'm an adult. Like, you want me to go to this
Yeah.
camp? Um, I mean, some of the best experiences I have and memories are going to, the old hyperfit camps out in Michigan way back in the day.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, can we break it down a little bit? Like, um, so we've got some aspiring and current games athletes in the masters, right? Amy Jo was
Yeah.
out there last year. And then we've got, a couple athletes that were pretty, missed it by 3, things like that. So like,
Yeah.
whether you're at Roots or whether, you're in the Denver area, if you're in that bracket, like what specifically about camp do you think is that helps them move the needle, to steal your guys' phrase there,
Yeah.
over those 2.5 days?
The cool thing is it's dependent on every single athlete. Some people come
Yeah.
in and they move really well, but they almost maybe move too well and need help on, nudging them to go a little bit harder or to figure out the strategy piece. And then there are a
Hmm.
lot of people who are willing to, put their head through a wall that really need to slow down and figure
Right.
out how to move. And when you teach each element of that related to a specific workout that will then go do,
Mm,
I think it really takes hold a little bit better. And
yeah.
the coaches in the breakout groups, you're going to have the people who have the aha moment of this is the way that you fix your total bar, this is the way that you fix your rowing, etc. And the coach then kind of tries to hold them to that. So
Yeah.
we were kind of close to that in round one, and then we got away from ourselves in round two and into round three. So you go back home, and the question is, can I do this in skill work and then interval work and then in a metcon? Can I
Got
put
it.
these pieces together? Um, and then there's a ton of side conversations related to the mental piece of it. And that mental piece could be related to slogging through everyday training, or it could be related to like, I crush it every day, and then qualifiers come up, and just the anxiety of it all like takes over for me.
Right.
So I really like the idea that we are providing all of these elements, because then the athletes can be like, okay, I've already kind of got this side of things down. I can
Right.
latch on to this piece. Um, and to say something about the camp aspect, being in a room with like-minded individuals when you are obsessed with this weird niche thing is so fun. Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty introverted until you get me talking about this stuff. And like you just feel energized by it. So there's this piece of just leaving camp and being like, there are dozens of other weirdos that I can now communicate with on Telegram, and I can talk to the coaches.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even feel comfortable reaching out to us, but I am every day having like at least an hour of conversations with people following the programming. Um, because this is just what I like to do, what I want to do, that sort of thing. So if you're on the fence because you typically wouldn't like kind of that
Yeah.
group environment, it actually works in the opposite way, because you're like,
Cool.
these are my people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that is true. Because I think too, like in adult athletics and sport, whether you're, you know, I don't know, whether you decide you want to try to climb something really challenging or you want to, go run a half marathon, just being able to put yourself out there and say, like, this is important to me and I'm going to commit the time or I'm going to go to spend 2 days doing it, I think is a big step. But then once you do it, it sort of helps validate like why you're doing all these
sure.
different things. That's a really good point. Okay, so quarterfinals are back. We can all celebrate that. So I think we had 40 something, 42 athletes qualify for quarterfinals last year, or well,
Yep.
2 years ago. And I think that camp has. I personally really hope a lot of our quarterfinal athletes or people that want to qualify for that or have in the past consider camp, because I think that it will give them the edge where a lot of them come to quarterfinals and they were just, not just, but they were coming to class 5 days a week. Maybe they're doing a little
Right.
competitor extra here and there,
Yep.
and they had and they qualify for quarterfinals. And so being able to like take that and say like, let me spend a little bit of time now, maybe the next 4 months, spending some specific attention there. What do you think the reason for someone that's like following your affiliate programming and is going to qualify for quarterfinals, like what's in it for them?
Um, I think it depends a little bit on what their goals are.
Mhm.
If you are aspiring to be a competitor,
Yeah.
the benefits are pretty obvious. I'm
Mhm.
in an affiliate setting, and at the end of the day, general health, wellness,
Yeah.
strength, well-being is the end goal.
Yes.
And we are going to shine a light on sort of what is beyond that for a
Mhm.
competitor.
Yeah.
Um, but still, if this is someone who, we have so many people that end up in quarterfinals, quote unquote, by accident
Yeah.
here at our
Yeah, that
gym.
exactly, by accident.
Yeah. And a lot of them have been to the camps that we've hosted here over
Mhm.
the years. And
Cool.
it actually gives you, like, it puts you right on top of the fence, and you kind of get to lean in a certain direction, like, hey, I'm here because it's so cool to have misfits from all over the country in one place, and we get an Airbnb together, and I enjoy going out to dinner
Yeah.
with these people and making new friends. And then we have the other people who just sort of fall off the other side and go, wow, I actually am really, into the competitive side of things. We try to make, some of the metcons that we do over the course of the weekend have a competitive element there to kind of
Okay.
nudge people. So it does help people figure out why they're doing what they're doing.
Mhm.
Um, and then honestly, on down the line, the thing that we talk about as a coaching staff that is super important to us is that we're always willing to meet someone where they're at. And that's not just, are you a beginner or a CrossFit Games athlete, but how much like buy-in are you going to give us? And we will give you the same level of buy-in. So if you're a
Mm,
beginner, like we just have some people that show up that are like super beginner level, but they're really enthusiastic and they
yeah.
ask a lot of really good questions.
Mhm.
And you will find myself, Hunter, one of our games athletes, like off to the side with that person in between sessions, teaching them how to do something, that's potentially a little bit more basic for everybody else. But we are looking for buy-in in terms of like how enthusiastic somebody is or how committed they are to it. Their level or whether they're a coach or an athlete doesn't really matter all that much to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think there's an interesting thing there you said about like, okay, you almost fall into quarterfinals by accident. And you do this for like the health and longevity and the fitness. I think like quarterfinals is a really good representation for people when they fall into it, where it's like you do this thing year round. It doesn't have to be your primary passion, right?
Right.
You can go enjoy ski season, and you can go enjoy mountain biking, you can do all the different things. And but from March to May of your life, your season yearly, you like putting a little more focused attention on this thing called CrossFit, um, and being a competitor for those 2 or 3 months, right? And I think, to your point about the beginners, I'm hoping that a couple people are listening to this, that are in the more beginner category at Roots, that I think just enjoy the sport and enjoy the athletic side of their body doing new things, and this would be a really cool
Some
next
of
step
our
for them.
most enthusiastic reviews
Yeah,
are from beginners because I think
sweet.
they think like, oh, maybe I get, because I've been to training camps before, earlier on in my career where it was more like, why don't you come watch the spectacle that is these group of humans? And that's just not what we're doing. This is
Right,
born out of
right.
like, I'm the kind of person where if I coached a regular schedule at the affiliate, I would get in trouble, even though I own the affiliate, for taking way too long in class. Like,
Yes.
this is born out of me wanting to go deeper,
Hmm.
and explain again the finer points of movement, mindset, strategy, and workouts, like programming, all of these pieces. So we're not there to be like, okay, Caroline and Paige, go work out in front of these people so their
Right.
jaws can drop. Like, that's just
Yes.
not really what we do. I mean, you can
Yeah,
watch them at lunchtime and do that, but
totally.
yeah,
Um, yeah, no, yes, all of that, yes. Also, when you said something about the coaching, I know that, like, I'm excited from a coach perspective and an athlete perspective, but from a coach perspective, because I think that, you know, it's really easy to get into our habits, right? Of like we see the same pattern, or we connect
right.
patterns the same way, or we coach this movement the same way all the time. So maybe you can talk a little bit, like, there are a lot of coaches in the Denver area
Yeah.
looking at this as like a not just an athlete camp, but like a place to just learn about coaching and coaching different athletes, because it sounds
I
like
don't
that's a
really
big part.
Yeah, I don't really market it as a camp for coaches because I've always
Totally.
been scared of sending the wrong message, but,
Okay, got
like
it.
it really is. Like, if I wanted someone to be a remote coach for Misfit Athletics or help me with programming,
Yeah.
they would 100% have to take camp, shadow at camp, coach at camp, because again, the people presenting the information, that is our language, right?
Right.
So there are other camps where again, they're a little bit more focused on like showcasing a games athlete and being like,
Right.
this is what they do. Can you hang? Like that sort of thing. But, Hunter and myself specifically, everything that we are saying is coming from a coach's perspective.
Right.
So it is sneaky, maybe more beneficial for a coach. I
Right.
just like it's always been such a conundrum of like, do I create two advertisements, one for coaches, one for
Right.
athletes, like that kind of
Yes.
thing.
Kind
Yeah.
of like the
Yeah.
level one, the whole level one thing. We get that too, right? Like, do you take it to
Sure.
enjoy it personally, or do you take it to learn to coach other people? Like, there's
Right.
value and benefit to both depending on what lens you're looking through.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let's get into a couple nitty gritty. We'll go a couple more minutes if you got the time.
I do.
So you're an athlete. You're like, I want to go to camp, but you're like, I don't have a toes to bar. I really want to go, but and I'm like, I can crush some of these workouts and I've got a lot of
Sure.
capacity and stuff, but man, I got this one thing. Why would you come to camp?
Because I break every single movement down into its component parts, and we're gonna find out where your toe to bar breaks down, right?
Yeah.
Um, and if you have capacity, if you have general physical capacity, I am going to get your toes to the bar. I guarantee that. That's going to
There you go,
happen.
guys. Drew said it.
Like we will bust out the phones and the iPads and this is the exact moment where you've gone from step 1 is good, step 2 is good, step 3 is good, this is completely wrong, or we're losing tension at
Mhm.
this point. And that's why, if it's the type of thing where you're linking the movement together and it's not singles, why you're unable to do reps 2, 3, 4, 5, that sort of thing. So I come from a more traditional sports background, and when I got into CrossFit, it was like, oh, well, we used to have to do the most ridiculous pitching drills in baseball where you were going like, it's this, and then this, and then this, and then this. So that's the way I broke
Mm,
down gymnastics, weightlifting, all of it. Like, we will be able to identify on camera, like, and show you this is why this isn't working specifically, as opposed to like, here's a 3 step progression, try it. Didn't go well. Sorry. We'll see
sorry,
you next
right.
time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think because I think that a lot of times that becomes the hurdle, like, you know, my clean and jerk is not as heavy as I want it to be to kind of like round out my how
Sure.
my picture myself as an athlete or whatnot. And I think, you know, I think that when you go to class day to day, obviously there's always going to be progressions and there's going to be time to work on things, but just really if it's important to you, you can't really underestimate the value of taking some time outside of your normal, you know, habits and patterns and things like that to really get a little bit more of a deep dive into something. I think that's where like a lot of those aha moments happen.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's kind of the other part for the everyday athlete. I mean, I really want to make a pitch for, you know, if you enjoy CrossFit and you're coming to class and you just want to be fitter, you want to, you know, you want to move more of your markers over onto the health side of the continuum, you know, showing up 5 days a week and hitting the class hard and, you know, doing your nutrition outside of class, those are all great things. And you can kind of get this little like surge of development by saying like, yeah, I'm going to take a weekend away from the normal habit and see what that does for just my everyday group class experience. Because I think we do sometimes get into a, you know, we get in our rut. We go, we do the thing, we check the box, which is okay. You know, there's a what do you want to call it? Not mundane. What's the word I'm looking for? Just like a level of
R
consistency where you
Sure.
show up, you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
the thing.
Right.
Um, okay.
One other real fun part is the cues that you give don't work, and I give the same one, and then it works, and then the coaching staff at Roots gets to roll their eyes.
Yes, I'll look
"Did you
forward to
hear
that.
them say that to me?"
Nobody's
They're like,
ever
"Oh my
told me
god, I've
that.
said that 600." Yeah, that's
That's okay.
always so
We
fun.
can take it. We can take it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're excited. Like, I think that from a coaching perspective, it's really easy for us all to get sort of into our habits. And so I'm
Yeah.
super excited for you guys to come out um and hang with us. Okay, so then and then so there's some lectures, there's a lot of movement, there's workouts. If I'm a beginner and I've never done like a 3-day competition, am I going to be wrecked? Am I going to be, you know, how good there's good wrecked and then there's, you know, like can I handle it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
where do we
Yes,
fall in that
absolutely.
spectrum?
It's definitely in the middle of that. I won't
Okay.
lie and
Yeah, good.
say it's 4 workouts in 2 days and then 1 lift on the other side, but we talk through as part of, like, movement strategy and workout strategy and all that. There's scaling built into that, and then it's really easy for us to help people scale because we get to see, again, the, like, finer details of every movement.
Right.
So it's really easy for us to go in and do that, and then honestly,
Mhm.
like, the athletes that end up pretty sore by the end of the weekend are the ones trying to compete. So,
Cool.
like, if you wanna hang back a little bit in an AMRAP because 'cause you're feeling it, like,
Mhm.
no one's gonna care that you're doing
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but more likely, the thing that's gonna make you most sore is being a little bit more competitive.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
One question maybe specific, well, specific, I guess, to your guys' programming. Like, so for the affiliate program, you guys have that great competitor extra, which I know a lot of our
sure.
athletes are doing. Um, do you speak a little bit in the lecture specifically to any of that in terms of like how you guys apply that, how that like just what's behind that part of the programming for, or do you go dive into, I guess the question would be, do you dive into any of the specific parts, the different avenues of programming you guys offer?
I would say the Q&A is
Okay,
the
cool.
best place for that,
Yep.
and that can be the kind of thing where a lot of times the icebreaker questions are from the coaching staff,
Okay.
and a lot of times it is a Misfit affiliate,
Yep.
that is hosting camp, so that can be really helpful,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I would talk for way too long about why I choose what I choose for the
Yeah.
competitor extra.
Yeah. Well, it ties in perfectly from my perspective in terms of, what's on that day and then what's the next day. But
Yeah,
I just like it for that. I love it for that little extra, nudge where people want to be able to do more and they've come to the
right.
hour and they're already warmed up and,
Yep,
grab a friend and let's go.
for sure.
Okay, cool. Anything I don't I'm just glancing at the questions here just to make sure I don't miss anything.
I've got 2 quick notes.
Yeah,
1,
please.
um, there are enough people in our Telegram, and I can share a link with you if people
Yeah,
don't already have the link.
I think I do, but
There
yeah.
are enough people in our Telegram, and this is so awesome for me, I don't even need to they can sell it better than I can for
Yeah.
their experience. Like, we've got 0 one-star reviews as far as I know.
Yeah.
Um, we get really great feedback, and if there is negative feedback, it's normally related to, like, I wanted, like, more time for lunch or, it would be more logistical,
Right.
than anything else. So the feedback is really great, and you can go in and just go to, Misfit community chat and say, "I'm thinking about camp. Should
Cool.
I
What do you
go?"
think?
And
Yeah.
you will get blasted, and these people are paying customers, I'm not paying them, that sort of
Right.
thing. And then the other piece is, it's been really cool to see. When I was young, it was a hit to the ego. I thought they were there to see me. They're there to see each other. The amount of, like, lifelong friends that have been made from camp, like,
Yeah.
people travel all over the country to do camps to have a weekend together, and they
Yeah.
met at camp.
Yeah.
So, like, they're, like, super excited about, like, we used to tried really hard to figure out the best way to do, like, a social hour, and they're
Mhm.
like, "You guys go back to your hotel. We got
Yeah, do
this."
your thing.
Like, yeah. So
I love that.
1, you can get great reviews just by going into Telegram and just asking
Okay.
people what it's like, because then you won't be hearing it from the person that's selling the tickets. And then, it's been so cool to see these people are like best friends, and they met at camp, and they keep coming back to camp to hang out with each other.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I love that for you guys. Okay, cool. All right. So camp January 30th. Come on out to CrossFit Roots. We'd love to have you. We will, let's see, camp kicks off Friday afternoon, evening.
yep, yep,
And then all day Saturday, all day Sunday. If you need anything in terms of, places to stay, ideas, things like that, you can go ahead and hit us up. And then if you got questions for Drew on camp, you can hit on or get on Telegram and talk to his community for some firsthand insight.
for sure.
And yeah, we're really excited to have you guys out. So thanks for
Yeah, I
thanks for
can't wait.
organizing.
I know I've told you I went to college in Fort Collins, so any
We
opportunity
won't
to
hold it
get
against you. We got a lot of buffs at
back into
CU, but
the
or here in Boulder. No, I'm kidding.
Do you remember the year that CSU won in Boulder because they had been fighting over where
I think I do.
2009 maybe-ish?
Yeah.
Would roughly?
Yep.
I was
Yeah.
there. I was
Were
on
you
the
there?
buff.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I remember the old days when we used to go, they used to play it in Denver, like in a
That was
neutral site.
my freshman
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
only one that I got to
That
see
was
down
less
there.
fun. I didn't those weren't my favorite. I liked going
Yeah,
back and forth.
yeah.
Um Yeah, well, we'll have to talk some football when you get out here
We
too.
will.
There you
We
go.
will.
All right,
Alright.
awesome. Thanks for making the time, and
Of course.
we'll see you in a couple months.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Okay, thanks everybody. Okay,
Yep.
bye.